Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So listen, this video I'm hoping is gonna be very helpful for you guys, but it is late. So it's currently like 11 o'clock at night when I'm sitting down to film because as the mom of a toddler and who's currently pregnant, like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's really like the only time that I had today to sit down and film. So if I'm a little bit all over the place, forgive me. This is the best that I can do. So if you guys are new here, number one, my name is Kayla. Hello, welcome. Thanks for clicking on this video. Like I said, I am a mom of an 18-month-old baby girl named Riley, and I am 17 and a half weeks pregnant with my second baby. This is a video that I've been wanting to sit down and film for you guys ever since I found out that I was pregnant. These are honestly the kinds of videos that I would binge watch like crazy. When I was trying to conceive, I would just like sit down and watch YouTube all night long and try to figure out what tips and ideas I could get to get pregnant. And I loved like hearing about 2-week wait symptoms and just the early pregnancy symptoms, because I'm telling you, I was like a crazy person. I was writing notes down all the time because I was really dead set on having this baby. I wanted it so badly, and Joe and I, my husband and I, like we got so lucky and blessed that within 3 months of trying, we did conceive. I took a pregnancy test, it came back positive. The entire journey, for those of you guys who are new here, if you guys haven't followed along, will be linked down below for you guys. So if you guys want to see the video that I put out with just like trying to conceive tips, and I also put out another video that was like just how hard the trying to conceive process is mentally, physically, like it was just not a fun time, honestly. Then I do have like those like fun and exciting videos like where I actually took the live pregnancy test and got the positive, and telling my husband that I was pregnant, all of that. You guys can go check those videos out if you guys just want to be brought up to speed on where we're at with everything. This video is going to be all about those 2-week wait symptoms, the things that I was writing down that I was noticing from the time that we were really trying, right after I had ovulated and all of that, and like what really made me feel like I really was pregnant. And turns out I was pregnant. I actually did a vlog, which is just like so funny to look back on. I actually vlogged one day and I was telling you guys like I really think that I'm pregnant, and these are gonna be some of the reasons why I did feel like I was pregnant. So first and foremost, I wanna tell you guys that when I was trying to conceive, I was using an app, just a regular app on my phone. I think it was just called like Period Tracker or something like that. And the way that that app worked was every time that we were intimate, we were able to put like a little heart on our calendar. And then I was able to like write notes and stuff, like so I could track my symptoms and track what was happening. So if you guys are trying to conceive out there, you guys will know, or if you've been trying to conceive before in the past, you guys know, like when you're trying, truly trying to make this happen, you really just want to put as much effort as you can into it. And then that 2-week wait process when you're waiting to either get your period or find out that you're pregnant, those 2 weeks are like brutal. Those 2 weeks, you kind of go a little bit insane because any little change to your body, you like notice. You're super hyper aware is like what I tell my friends. Like I remember I would be like laying down in bed and like, I don't know, like my toe would twitch or something, and I'd be like, why did that happen? Like, does that mean I'm pregnant? Like any little thing that happens to you, you kind of like overanalyze it and think, you know, to yourself, like, is this a pregnancy symptom? Am I gonna get my period? And you're like constantly trying to figure out if it just means that you're pregnant. So here are some of the things that I noticed and that I wrote down in my like little app before I took that pregnancy test, before I actually found out that I was pregnant. So the first thing was, and I know it sounds so silly, but I had a stuffy nose. Like my nose was like really stuffy, and I just felt like I was catching a cold, but I didn't really have a cold. I didn't have any other symptoms. I just felt like I couldn't breathe as normally, as well as I used to be able to in the past. So I just remember writing that down and being like, okay, my nose is stuffy, which throughout my pregnancy has been pretty consistent. Like today at 17 and a half weeks pregnant, I'm actually stuffy. And I think I read somewhere that it's because like the blood vessels or something in your nose, I don't know, something happens with your nose. So you guys can look it up, do your own research. I am not a doctor by any means, but I do remember just feeling like I had a stuffy nose, feeling like I had a cold coming on. Another thing that happened to me during those 2 weeks was that I had like some migraines, and I have always suffered from headaches. I don't know if you guys suffer from headaches, but if you do, I'm sorry, they suck. But normally my migraines are pretty like hormone related, but normally what I see is that I would get like a headache around the time that I would get my period. So given that I was getting these migraines and I didn't have my period, just kind of made me question like why that was happening. The other thing that I noticed was that I was super hungry. Like I was like a just wild animal, like trying to get any piece of food that I could find. I was just starving all the time. And like normally, I mean, I have a big appetite. Like I like candy, I like sweets, like all the bad junk food I like, but I wanted it all the time. So I just found it a little strange that I was having like this extra urge to eat more food. So I remember writing that down. Then I was like suffering from like this super weird brain fog is what I call it. And it was just like this overwhelming feeling of not wanting to do anything. Like I've told you guys before, and I think I mentioned it in some of my other like early pregnancy updates, which will also be linked down below. I'm the kind of person that like always wants to do stuff, always wants to be on my computer, always wants to be working, always wants to be filming, always wants to be writing blog posts. Like I have a very like hard time just like sitting and doing nothing. So when I find myself at a point where I'm like, gosh, like I don't want to do anything. Like I just want to sit here on my bed and scroll through my phone or just watch TV, and like I don't want to film, I don't want to go on YouTube, I don't want to post things. Like for me, that's always like a red flag. Like what is going on? Why do you have no motivation to do anything? So I remember feeling that way for like several days during that 2-week wait period. And normally that doesn't happen to me. Like if I'm just getting my period, like if I'm just normal cycle, that normally doesn't happen. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I was like, okay, what's going on? Like something's going on with my body that's weird. The biggest like giveaway or the biggest symptom that really convinced me that I was pregnant was that I was having cramps like if I was getting my period, but I was not getting my period. And this was like not at the time when I was supposed to get my period. It was like several days before I would normally get my period that I felt that cramping. And it feels just like regular period cramps. Like for me, I remember thinking to myself like, damn, like I'm just getting my period early. Maybe my cycle shifted and I'm just experiencing my cramping and my period symptoms, like normal symptoms early on in my cycle. So I do remember like getting a little like discouraged and being like, man, like, I don't know, like I'm just not gonna get pregnant this month. But the more that I watched videos and heard from other people, like their early pregnancy symptoms or 2-week wait symptoms, more people would say how they experienced what they call like implantation cramping, which happens like a few days before you actually can like test a positive like on a pregnancy test. So I truly feel like that is what I was experiencing, because like I said, it wasn't like if my cycle is a perfect 28 days, then I would be getting my period on day 28 and I would be experiencing my cramping around that time. And that's not when I was feeling this cramping. I was feeling this cramping like maybe 5 days before then, so maybe around day 23. To me, that meant that if I was getting cramps and I wasn't seeing blood, like if I was getting cramps, not getting my period, then that's different. That's different than what I would normally experience when I was getting my period. If that makes any sense to you guys. I hope someone out there understands what I'm saying. It's a little bit hard to explain. Again, I'm not a doctor. I am not medical by any means, but this is just what I remember feeling. I think for me, the hardest thing, or like the biggest thing that I was waiting for to like really confirm that, you know what, there's like a really big chance that I'm pregnant this month, was I was waiting for my boobs to be super sore. Because when I found out that I was pregnant with Riley, my first daughter, I like can't even tell you guys how painful my boobs were. And my boobs were like huge and sore, and I was like, okay, there's something wrong here. Like, what the hell happened to my boobs? Like, they're just on fire. And then I remember taking the pregnancy test and getting a positive with Riley. So this time around, I was kind of thinking to myself like, okay, if I do get pregnant, that's what I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna feel my boobs getting really big and really just like uncomfortable and sore. And I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that. So I was like, okay, like when is this gonna happen? Am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? And with this pregnancy, my boobs didn't actually get sore until like a little later on. So I can't remember the exact week where I started to feel sore. I can tell you right now, I feel super sore. My boobs have grown like a whole cup size. They are sore all the time. I have to wear a bra, like even to sleep sometimes I have to wear a sports bra because they hurt so much. My husband sometimes goes to like, you know, just like touch my boobs. I'm like, get away from me. get away from me because that shit hurts. So point is, that symptom for me didn't happen until much later on in my pregnancy, but it sure is here now. So don't be surprised if like some of these symptoms you don't experience until a little bit later. Everyone's different. Everyone's gonna experience different things. But for me, this was my experience and these were things that I noticed. And given that I have now had 2 pregnancies, it's been interesting to kind of compare like how I felt when I was pregnant with Riley versus how I feel with this baby and like all the things that I went through. So I can say that 2 pregnancies can be very different and that symptoms can be very different. But I do remember being hyper aware this time around because I really was trying for this baby, and that implantation cramping and feeling those cramps and not getting my period, I think for me, that was like the biggest thing that I noticed this time around. After that, like around the 5-week mark, so when I took my pregnancy test and got a positive, first of all, it wasn't until 15 DPO that I got a positive on my pregnancy test. And I do have a full video on my line progression test of the pregnancy test that I took, so you guys can see like 15 DPO, 16 DPO, 17 DPO, and how my pregnancy test looked from day to day, because I was testing and I kept getting negatives until the 15th day according to my app. And I kind of go into that a little bit in that video. I don't necessarily think that the apps are very accurate when it comes to like getting the accurate ovulation date. So I do think that I actually ended up ovulating a little bit later than my app said I did, which is why I kept like testing like 12 DPO getting a negative, 13 DPO getting a negative, but I kept testing. And then like I said, on day 15 is when I got the positive. So you guys want to see that, I will leave a link down for you guys. But I think all of that happened like around, I think I was like 5 weeks. I was still very early, but I had missed my period. It was like 2 days past my missed period that I think I finally got a positive on a pregnancy test. After that though, I did feel some like early pregnancy symptoms. I'm just gonna go through them really quick. Smells drove me crazy. I was like nauseated by smells. Everything was disgusting. I literally couldn't even go to Publix without wanting to vomit because like all of the smells, and like just thinking about it now kind of makes me want to vomit a little bit, but I was just very sensitive to smells. I was also super nauseous, and like that was awful. Like being nauseous was really bad. I just wanted to puke all the time and I couldn't. Like I never actually puked. I was just like nauseous all day, which sucked. I was also like super hungry. Like my stomach was growling. I was hungry, but nothing seemed appetizing to me. It's a very weird sensation unless you've been there, but like my stomach was growling and I'd be like, no, I don't want chicken. No, I don't want fish. No, I don't want mac and cheese. Like all the things that I would normally like, I was like grossed out by. So that made it very hard to eat food. I was also peeing all the time, running to the bathroom, so peeing a lot more frequently than I normally do. I broke out all over my face, and I still am a little bit broken out. Like it kind of depends on the week, but I just remember like my lower jawline, I had so much like just like pimples, and I just broke out like a lot down here and like by my ears. Like it was just not fun. It was not a good situation. But I remember just getting like a big flare up of acne. I was also super tired, which that unfortunately has not changed at all. I've been so tired my entire pregnancy. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm chasing around a toddler all day, but I've just been really, really tired. I used to tell my mom, like, because I remember I was like staying with her for a couple weeks early on in my pregnancy, and I was like, I just feel like I got hit by a truck. I feel like my body got run over, and it keeps getting run over, and no one is helping me, and I am on the floor lying down, and I'm just gonna die. So if you're not pregnant yet, that's what you have to look forward to. And then last but not least, I remember just being so anxious, dealing with a ton of anxiety, so much anxiety, which I think deserves its own separate video, because from the moment that I found out that I was pregnant, I feel like my anxiety has been so bad, so bad, because I remember like, first of all, I was so happy that I got pregnant. And then immediately my brain went to, okay, well, what's the % chance of having a miscarriage? And what's the % chance of something bad happening? And after week 5, like, what's your chances of having a miscarriage? And I would Google like all of these things. And obviously Google is awful. If you're looking for confirmation of your death, go to Google. But everything else, don't go to Google. So a lot of pregnancy anxiety, a lot of just anxiety, period. Those were my early pregnancy symptoms. So I think that's the gist of it, you guys. Those were just some of the early things that I experienced with this pregnancy. I'm so happy to finally sit down and share them with you. I know that it's been a long time since I found out that I was pregnant, but if I don't do this now, I'm not gonna remember to do it. And it was something that I really wanted to share with you guys because a lot of you were following my trying to conceive journey. I know that so many of you are in the same boat, and I know what it's like to wait those 2 weeks and to be like, shit, like what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna get pregnant? I really want this so bad. I remember being on my knees praying to God. Like, I remember praying to him and being like, you know, I want a baby so badly in my heart, but help me to be patient, help me to trust your timing. And I just remember that process of like just wanting something so badly, and the months when it didn't happen, it was hard. It was really sad and it was disappointing. And then obviously I would think about all of the women out there who struggle with like real infertility issues, and my heart goes out to all of them, anyone who's trying and can't or has issues or whatever the case is. Just like, I am sensitive to that. I know that it has to be so hard. But again, I know what it's like to just be waiting those 2 weeks and being hyper aware of what's happening in your body and wanting so badly for you to be pregnant, and wanting so badly to take a test and for it to say positive or for it to be a plus sign or the 2 lines or whatever it is. So I hope that this video helped in some way. If not, just at least, I don't know, you can be my friend, subscribe to my channel, watch my videos. I post a lot of like just vlogs of my child and I just hanging out at home, just being dorks at home. Like, I don't know what else to say. Whether you're watching this and you're already pregnant or have a child or you are hoping to get pregnant, motherhood is hard. Being a parent is very difficult. So I feel like making these videos and just connecting with you guys is just such a fun way to just have other mom friends and just like other people out there who are doing the same thing. So I hope in some way you got something from this video. And if you did, just please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, stick around, watch my other videos, and comment down below. Let me know if there's any questions you have. I'll be happy to answer them. And that's it. So I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.